I suspect I may come in for some flack after this video. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel Everyday Carry for the Everyday Guy. So in this video, I'm going to outline 3 to 7 reasons why your next, first or last pistol should be a Glock. Now, the reason I'm doing this video is because pre-lockdown, I got a ton of requests of what pistols people should buy, and I think the people who requested that didn't quite understand the buying process here in South Africa. So they thought they'd be able to acquire the firearm before the lockdown began. And I suspect after the lockdown, I'm going to be inundated with questions about the same thing, because now they'll actually be able to go to a gun shop and buy the pistol. I want to do a video where I outline why I'm going to recommend people buy Glocks. Now, if you're in the US or any other country other than South Africa, this may not apply to you, but some of the things may still be applicable. Use it, don't use it, that kind of deal. This is a good video if you just want to kind of sit back and listen. I will be showing things, but it's not really a showy video. It's more of a telling video. So before I go further, I just want to say I'm not a Glock fan. I own a Glock. I'm still not a Glock fan. I'm not like a particular fan of any pistol except the 1911. I just think that's like the Rolls Royce of firearms. That's just like a personal thing for me. This is purely going to be looked at from a independent view. So I'm going to rule out things like comfort, ergonomics, and grip texture and all those things, because that's all subjective. You know, that's kind of something that somebody might like, another person might not like. I'm going to try to keep this video purely about fact. The things I want to talk about are purely factual and will apply to everyone. Okay, so thing number one that most people don't think of when they buy a Glock firearm are training options. This, for example, this is a Glock 19X from Blades and Triggers. This is a training pistol. It's not live, so don't stress. But this is how real it can get. This firearm is made under license from Glock, blowback mechanism and everything. I do know you get other brands like this. I also know that the Glock brand is the most popular. So if you're going to walk into a store and say, can I please have a training pistol or an airsoft pistol? Chances are they're going to give you a Glock. So straight off the bat, training options. You want to look at Blue Guns. I suggest looking at guys like Combative Concepts. They have a really cool one with a removable mag. Blue Guns, these are the more common training tools, and this is the most common version of a training pistol, a Glock 19. So supplementing your real firearm should be a training pistol. And the simple fact of the matter is almost all firearm stores are going to have this. Any store that stocks training pistols will have a Glock training pistol in stock. The next I want to talk about is something I call shared experience. This is my Glock 19. Now, it is quite customized, but all the internals are stock. If I go to a training course and I shoot this Glock and I shoot it poorly, chances are that that instructor that's giving that course would own a Glock as well, and he would be able to more easily diagnose what I'm doing wrong. Sometimes just to shoot more often, okay? But there are things you can be doing with your grip, with your trigger finger, with your support hand that could cause your shooting proficiency to be diminished. Think of it like this. Imagine you were a driving instructor, okay? And you drove a Ferrari, and all your students also drove Ferraris. It would be a lot easier to diagnose their problems because you guys are working on the same equipment. Conversely, imagine you drove a Ferrari as a driving instructor and all your students are driving dump trucks. Now, I'm not saying all other firearms are dump trucks. I'm just trying to make this as an example. It's going to be a lot harder. You're going to have to spend time in your student's vehicle to understand where or what they're doing wrong. Similarly, when it comes to instructors, 99.9% of them are very familiar with a Glock platform. So they're going to be able to diagnose your problems much easier because chances are they experienced themselves with the same pistol. So looking further down the line, that's another reason to invest in a Glock firearm for EDC. Chances are your instructor also has one. And when you phone them up and you say, listen, man, I'm doing this, that, or the other, they're going to be able to say, that's because you're doing this, that, or the other. Now, a good firearms instructor will be able to diagnose problems regardless of what firearm you have. But at the end of the day, it just makes it easy for them and for yourself if you guys are all working on the same platform. Thirdly, parts and upgrades. Okay? If there's one thing everyone does to their Glock, it's upgraded. So you're going to have to come to terms with the fact that if you don't own a Glock, you are going to get your parts and upgrades more than likely lost. Simple reason for that is because 99% of the population are running Glocks. So if you were to be selling parts and upgrades, Who would you want to cater for first? So if you are someone like myself that enjoys customizing his gear, going for anything other than Glock, you are going to put yourself at a slight disadvantage. Now you will notice throughout this, I'm not talking about shootability, okay? Because I believe that the ability to shoot the pistol well is not down to the pistol. Most quality modern firearms, Smith & Wesson, H&K, SIG, CZ, whoever else I'm missing, most of them will fire when you pull the trigger, and most of them will shoot accurately. What it comes down to then is your training. Similarly with Glock. Some people say they don't shoot a Glock well. In my experience and my personal opinion, that comes down to training. So that's put aside. We're going to assume, for what I'm saying here, that anyone who's looking at this video can shoot any pistol well. The next thing I want to talk about is holsters. So if you want to go for a slightly more minimalistic setup, you're going to find a holster for your Glock. This will cater for a red dot as well. This is the Tenneco Valo 3, I think. If you want to run your firearm like I run mine, you're going to have no problem finding a setup. I run quite a big setup. If you want to run something like the PL Mini, you're going to find a setup for that as well. The simple fact of the matter is you are going to find holsters for your firearm way more easily if you own a Glock than if you own any other pistol. I posted a video on Instagram today, and someone, well, actually quite a few people commented on that video asking if the holster I was previewing in that Instagram video was available for their type of pistol. Okay, and I actually spoke to a holster manufacturer who told me over a 6-month period they had 400 requests for Glock pistols and 36 for all other types of pistols combined. So it stands to reason holster manufacturers are going to cater for Glocks first. So if you are planning on buying your firearm, this is one of the things very few people talk to you about in the gun store, okay? They very rarely say, hang on, are you sure you want to buy that, whatever it is, because you're going to struggle to find a holster. I find many people own a firearm, they've gone through the whole process, and it's a complicated process in South Africa of acquiring that firearm, and now they can't find a holster for it, or they have to accept the one holster that is available, even though they don't like it because there's no other options. The only way to get the other options is to have it custom made, and that costs a ton of money. So before you buy your firearm, especially if it's your first firearm, consider you're going to have to get a holster for that guy. And if you don't own a Glock, you are immediately at a disadvantage. Also, if you tend to shoot your firearm often, chances are you're going to eventually need some replacement parts. All quality pistols, which is the pistols I'm referring to in this video, are reliable and they will last quite long, but eventually you'll need to start replacing things. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that any company that sells Glock pistols has to go into an agreement with Glock to stock their parts and accessories as well. And as I understand it, it is only Glock that does this. So if you buy yourself a Glock firearm, chances are if anything breaks in that firearm, you're going to be able to get that replacement part fairly soon. That was the agreement in place when I bought my firearm a good few years ago, and I think it still is in place. Now, just to get onto modifications, right? The Glock is not a perfect firearm. This particular firearm wasn't comfortable in my hand when I bought it. It had those finger grooves that just did not fit my hand. They were very uncomfortable. I spoke to my trainer and mentor, James Smart, about it, and he said, listen, I know you want that Smith & Wesson, but you actually want a Glock. And I'm very glad he directed me in that direction, because it means as soon as a weapon light comes out, I can go and buy it. As soon as a dot comes out, I can go and buy it. Sights, right? Iron sights, I can have them made. Most companies that customize firearms have this shape on file. You can say, I want this, that, or the other, and they'll be able to tell you before you send your firearm to them whether or not they can do it. And so I do also get a lot of questions about my firearm, because you can see it's quite modified. Huge thanks to SA Laser Engraving. It's quite modified. And people ask, can this work for my SIG? Can it work for my CZ? Can it work for my Smith & Wesson? The answer is legitimately, I don't know, because 99% of the firearms that are modified by these companies or customized by these companies are Glocks. And so, you know, it's very hard to blame them because it's good business. You know, you want to cater for the largest market. So guys, that is my 2 cents on it. Now, if you own a CZ, SIG, H&K, Smith & Wesson, whatever the case may be, don't feel discouraged or bad. That, you know, the ship has sailed, so ride it, okay? But if you are a new firearm owner, and I'm sure potentially new firearm owners are going to contact me post-lockdown about what firearm they should buy, those are the reasons I recommend you go for a Glock pistol. And I believe those reasons to be unopinionated, okay? I think they are all factual, which is the important thing. I don't want to present an opinion about why I should go for the pistol. The pros of owning a Glock far outweigh the cons when you remove the personal opinion aspect of it. So guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. And I hope I answered some questions. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section below. If you want to see more videos like this, please like, share, and subscribe. I will see you guys soon. Have a good week. Cheers. God bless.